Alrighty then. Alright, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode on the edge of the world here. On the edge of the world with your host, CryinMo. That's me. How you doing? How are you doing? Welcome back for another episode of Let's Play Minecraft with CryinMo. I had to say my name 3 times there. I don't know why. How is everybody? How are you doing? We just haven't been up here for a long time. Check it out. Top of our top of the world, Ma. This is the top of our highest level of the of our iron farm. There's our really cool enchanting tower with the image of that, with the view of the roof that we never really get to see. That is yeah, I dig it. I dig it. Okay, so today I know we were supposed to build the flower collection motor thing, the flower generating machine, which we are going to do today. So let's see. There we go. I wanted to fly through there for some reason. Okay, so we're going right over here. Because as we mentioned in the last couple episodes, we can only get those blue orchids here in a swamp, and we have a swamp right over here. And look at this. Look at these contraptions. Let me just zoom out. Look at this terrain. This is so cool. Look at this. Look at this. Wow. Super epic. Boy, look at that. That is rad. I want to put like a golf course down there. Anyway, pretty cool. Okay, so anyway, let's go right over here. See if we can make it over to these trees. Can I? Yes, thank you very much. Okay, so right down there, I just found a relatively flat area. And I did some experiments in building flower machines, basically. And both of those work really well. Let's go check them out. Oh, there's a big flat area right here. And a big slime. How are you doing down there? This is cool. Wow. Yeah, this is rad right here where the terrain changes and everything. We got giant lava falls. Wow. This is very, very cool. I never really liked swamps that much, but I am digging our swamp. Look at those with all the ivy growing down, the vines. This is pretty sweet. And to be honest, you know what? Building these over here when I was messing around with these, it made me I felt like I wanted to build a haunted house over here. And yeah, I think a haunted house might be pretty slick. So I have 2 different designs here. This one here is the one we're going to use. It's the better one, but that one works just as well. It's lacking one of the things here. So basically there are 4 redstone mechanical elements as far as maybe the programming of the operations go, and then there are 3 actual elements, actions. There are 3 actions that happen in this farm. Over here, there are 2 actions. These are AFK-able. Basically, you turn them on and you let them run until you want to turn them off. And they'll just keep running. If they run out of bone meal, they'll just keep running. But, you know, big deal. No bone meal, nothing happens, right? Nothing tells it to automatically shut off. I guess I could build in an automatic break with redstone. So let's check these out, I guess. So this one, as you can see, it's going to start running, I think. All right, so it fires, and so it fires the bone meal, and then the water drains and runs everything out. Now I don't have in either one of these. I have not put a collection area yet. Very, very simple, easy to build. Yeah, it works just fine. Works great. Now over here we have 1 extra action that happens here. Let's turn this on so we can see this one work. So over there we have 2 actions. We have bone meal firing, and we have piston water running. And over here, so if you see what's happening here, the bone meal's firing, and then piston, this piston array is moving the blocks, which is breaking the flowers. And it runs this for a little bit. It keeps going. More flowers, you know. After these sit here for about a minute, it runs the water and washes everything down. Although that one didn't wash everything down. I don't think it was on long enough. But that may have been a partial count because of when I turn it off, I think it locks the hoppers regardless of how many items are in either one. It just locks it wherever it's at. So let's see if the next time it runs, if it's long enough. It should be long enough because that's what I was doing testing for. But technically, I was trying to get a device that would run this for 4 minutes because items will despawn after 5 minutes. So I thought if we could run this for 4 minutes and then one water flow would take all those items and put them in hoppers. Yeah, pretty good. I guess it needs to run a little longer. I don't know which one is more efficient as far as output goes, because I didn't really measure that. But I thought this would be more efficient if it ran longer and then one time ran the water, but that could be totally wrong. Either one of these will be viable would be useful. Well, I'll meet you in the blue roofed village. All right, so we're over here at our little basement house here, and I went and grabbed a bunch of grass blocks because we're gonna need those. Yeah, so what I'm doing here is a little bit of a test. I had to throw down a beacon because I was gonna mine out stuff that's underground, because I was thinking about putting up our wow, okay. I was thinking about putting up our farm here, or whatever, our flower machine, flower gathering machinations above ground, and I was like, you know what, I don't want to wreck what everything looks like up here. Let me do a test. So I was like, well, I found the other day when I was testing flower growth patterns out here, found a skelly spawner, which I was like, how awesome is that? Not only can we AFK while we generate flowers, we can also generate bones. We don't need XP from that. Oh, I think I moved the block. There was a block right here. Let's see. Yep, we get a purple one here. So I think, not every time, but yeah, this is definitely a range of purple. So what I'm gonna do is go down and try to throw some different 9x9 areas of grass and see if I can find areas that give us we need, I want to get all the flowers we can get. So we need 4 colors of tulip and the alliums. The other flowers, the azure bluets and stuff, I think those appear randomly. Just a quick update here. So I have gone around here and laid in, as you see, some different plots of grass, and I ended up having to put more in here than I wanted to in order to find these guys. It proved rather difficult to find the orange tulips. Look at this. We got one whole plate, pink and white tulips. Perfect. We got alliums all over the friggin' place. We got red tulips all over the place. We got azure bluets all over the place. No problem. This was the only stretch of possible orange tulips that I could find. And also, just so you guys understand, right, this does not, what you see here does not represent single uses of bone meal. This is like stacks of bone meal over and over, and I just knocked down the grass in between each one until I could get the flowers to come up so I could see what block would spawn which flower, right? So here we have a nice variety. This is a very cool, we don't need those at all. We have an iron farm. So, I'm pretty sure, yeah, red tulips are the same dye, but we want red tulips and we want poppies out here for decorative purposes. Azure bluets give us light gray dye, which is nice. Man, nothing gives us blue dye except for lapis lazuli, though. That is a bummer. That lapis is the only way to get blue dye. Anyway, so then I further, dug out. I wanted this to be like the entrance and everything, and then it just wasn't going to happen. Couldn't find orange, but here is a nice big field of orange. So that's definitely going to have to be one of our deals, because the only other spot I could find was this little corner, and I was like, no way. Am I going to have to make a thing right here in this corner? I have to go through and basically pick and decide how I want to design this thing to look, this flower farm. So, yeah, that's going to take me several hours to figure out how I'm going to want to do this. So anyway, we'll be back. Hours for me, 1 second for you. All right, so it's been quite a while. I had to go do some work, day job stuff, and now I'm back and I did some work here. This takes a long time to do. Now, nothing is wired up or anything. This is as much work as I've done, but I had to go make all these dispensers. I had to go make all the pistons, and yeah, anyway. But anyway, I think I've got stuff pretty well organized, and I also had to spend another hour doing some more design work on the redstone to figure out how to make dispensers work. Because, because I'm CryinMo. I like to change things up on you. Do things you don't expect. Make work harder. Actually, no. What I wanted to do was make it a little bit more elegant. And I think I mentioned this before when I made some farms that used water, for harvesting. Using the piston design, the pistons that drop water, it's fine. It works really well. And it's actually easier on the redstone, a little bit easier to do it. Save a little bit on resources. But it's not always as clean looking. And I realized that in here, if we want water to drop down here and roll that way, we were going to have to put pistons on this level right here, and then the water was going to be up here, and that's only one block from the surface, and then we'd have all these pistons out. And to be perfectly honest, it wouldn't have really mattered. I could have just done it with the pistons, but I was like, I want to make it with the dispensers, which of course, each one has a water bucket, so that's 3 pieces of iron plus the all the redstone and the bows and everything that goes into each one of these dispensers. Plus then I had to work out a way to turn the dispensers on and off with that redstone circuitry I showed you earlier. We'll build that in just a bit, because I think now what I have to do is I have to go underneath. Oh, also here I just kind of finished this in a little bit, added some more of the mossy cobble just to sort of leave this cool as like a nice display. And then I think, obviously you can see what the idea is here. This is not an XP farm. This is skeletons spawn, get pushed into the single hole, fall down. So I was like, well, at the bottom of that is going to be, we're going to go down like 22 blocks or something and put a single hopper, and that's going to collect the bones. Oh, it's going to collect armor and bows and arrows and crap like that. But I'm going to filter all that out. And then I figured we can just run water streams. So all of our flowers can get pushed into water streams at the front, and the water streams can just pour into the same thing and go through the same collection chamber, and then we can separate it all down there. Maybe that was a bad idea. I don't know if one hopper for all these is going to be gnarly, or if it's going to fill up. Maybe it'll be terrible. I don't know. If it doesn't work, it's not like we can't reroute these things very easily and take all the flowers somewhere else for sorting. That's not a horrible thing. So let me go down and dig out underneath here what I need to get the redstone signal in to fire all of these guys. We only need one set of timers and everything that can control the entire farm. So I'll build that either in this section over here. I probably will leave this beacon up for a little while. I could have put it down in this spot. But I think I'll dig this out. We'll put the circuitry in here. I'll explain it when we lay it in, and then we'll wire everything up and see if it works after all this work. So our room here is coming right along. Now, I haven't done any of the wiring yet. I just wanted to get stuff underground ready to do the wiring, and it's about as ready as I can make it. So let's see. So I'm going to put the control center under here. And then I've made a tunnel that's 5 wide that goes around. This is the control center area. Hopefully that's enough space. It may not be. But this tunnel here goes around, and it's centered on our dispensers. So we can wire the dispensers. And of course, we have to have 3, there needs to be 3 cable runs basically. Of redstone, 1 to fire the dispensers, 1 to fire the pistons, and 1 to fire the water dispensers. All right, so we're gonna build at least. We're gonna get started on the structure here. This is pretty massive here. Just totally unexpected. I didn't realize I was gonna have to put in 5 different platforms, and just to get our 5 flower types. All right, well, anyway, let's throw down. We're going to start. I'm just going to pick a spot arbitrarily, which is probably a bad thing to do, but I'm just going to do it. Okay, so we need 2 ether hopper clocks, basically, all right, to run this. So ether hopper clock is pretty straightforward as far as, this is the ether hopper clock right here. This is the way it works. And we'll use polished andesite for our build. I mean, for our oh, wrong. This is wrong. These need to be flopped. Yep, that's wrong. Because you need if I just put redstone there, the signal coming out of a comparator is only going to be one one strong. It won't go anywhere else. So you put it into a block, and the block will actually transfer the signal over, and that will be enough to power the piston. All right, so there we go. So that's an Etho hopper clock right there, minus the ingredients, minus the blocks you put in here. And that's really all there is to it. So all it does is it takes items, go back and forth, and it lets, because of the way it's built, when you put items in here, 9, 10, 64, 5 stacks, whatever, this redstone block flops back and forth, but it doesn't, it actually holds the items until they all drain into one, and then it flops, and then they all drain back. That's why you get a very specific amount of time out of this timer, out of this hopper clock. So this hopper clock here will fire the piston, will fire the dispenser with the bone meal, and then we'll fire the pistons over and over and over. So this is just a second Etho hopper clock. It's just mirrored, flopped, and the reason we have a space in here is because we will end up using, I'm going to make sure that all redstone goes onto a particular block type. So we know that if we run into it while mining that we've hit, a piece of redstone that we don't want to remove. What this signal is when it gets hot, it'll lock this clock and turn it off. And what that means is it'll turn off the dispensers and the rocking pistons while the water dispenser pistons fire and run water. Okay, so I got a little more room laid in here. Let me throw down some torches here. What we're gonna make right here is what's called a dust cut pulse generator. So we have a solid signal coming out of here, but we need to pop out a pulse from this, and so it's not a solid signal the whole time. And so what we're going to do is to put down a couple of, we got this repeater here. So you got to imagine that this redstone block is moving over. This is going to have a stack of items in it. So the redstone block will move over, and then it'll, after a minute or so, it'll pop back, and then after a minute or so, it'll go back to this spot. So when it pops over, it sits here for a minute, so it runs a solid signal. So what we want the signal to do essentially is we want it to go through here. We want to run down. Nope, not there. We want to run over here, and we want it to run into our fading, our signal fader, our fader clock, I think is what it's called. So we're going to put down 6 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which I think is pretty much as many as I could put without getting a loop going, right? But it isn't looping yet because I don't have redstone dust there. So we put that here, and then we put a repeater because we need to kick the signal back to full strength right here. What happens is when this redstone block comes over, it fully powers this signal and this clock, but nothing's fading, nothing's turning off, right? Because everything's still fully powered from over there. But then we need to turn the signal off so that this has a chance to do its thing and also turn off. So that's why we do what's called a dust cut pulse generator. So we're going to do that with the following block here and there. So now we want to, so basically, so you saw the signal goes through here, boom, turns it off, and then we want to turn off this pulse after a few seconds so that this then becomes the fader clock and does its thing. It doesn't stay fully powered. So we do that here, and through my experimentation, you can make a dust pulse generator, which we're going to make a normal one, which is just with it's single wide and it has the piston up above. And we're going to make one over there in a little bit, but this one I needed a longer delay. I needed this signal to stay hot for longer so that this would take enough time to fill up without becoming a loop. So anyway, we do that by putting in delays here. So we put in 9 ticks of delay. Nope, we don't do that. We do that. And there we go, it turns it off. Now you'll see this is gonna run, and then it goes off, and then that turns off there. You imagine the block is over here, ready to go, and then when it pops back over here, watch it, boom, lights up everything, turns it off. That allows the signal to, it's still spinning around, but each time it goes, the comparator takes away one, and then the signal eventually turns off. So basically it just gives us a long pulse. So the end result, which maybe this is easier to watch, let's see, this is probably easier to watch here, is we're watching for this right here, right? So we throw down a power, boom, it turns on, and then it turns off. So it holds that for a little while, as long as it takes this signal to go in and out. This is just long enough for the dispenser, the water dispensers, to run the water and let the water flow 8 blocks and push our drops over, and then it turns off the water dispensers. Now, it does we haven't built the circuit yet that does the water dispensers. We've just done the circuit here, right? This one right here, this branch just stops the pistons and the bone dispenser from working. Now we're going to peel off a signal that we're going to use to actually trigger the water dispensers. Now the trick with the water dispensers is because I ended up going with dispensers versus pistons to hold the water back. Dispensers need 2 on-off pulses, right? One has to turn on and off to fire it, and one has to turn on and off again to turn them back to retract the water. So what we're going to do first is we're going to make our signal, the first signal that we need, which is going to be here. Put it on single tick delay. Imagine our signal comes through here. The signal that goes and turns off our first clock over there, it's also going to run through here, so that when it turns that off, it's going to run through here and turn on our water dispensers. Runs through this, into this block, into this delayed repeater, into this block, which turns this on. And from here, we take our signal out and do, you know, whatever we want to do with it. But now we also need to put our delay so that our signal comes through here, runs through here, fires off the dispensers, and then we need it to go through a second delay, kind of like that, but we need it to be longer, and then turn a fire again to turn off the dispensers. So the way we're going to do that, we're just going to make a repeater chain, basically, with delays on the repeaters, which will extend our pulse. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're going to put all of these on maximum delay, because we're going to use, that's what we're doing, we're just delaying our signal, we're letting it run out, we want to extend the signal here. And we can do this with, and in the corners, we can either put redstone or we can put blocks in here. It doesn't really matter. They both work the same for that purpose. Now here we're going to do another dust cut, but we're going to add 3 more. And then in here we're going to put an actual, like, typical, not dust cut, this is a monostable circuit. Jeez, we're going to throw out a monostable circuit here. And we're going to put another guy right here with a 1 tick delay. So both of these have 1 tick delays going in. That's to sort of lengthen the pulse a little bit, just so it isn't a 1 tick pulse. And in here we want to put a sticky piston, because this is a monostable circuit, which is essentially all it is this right here. This is the most simple monostable circuit. The signal will run through here, fire the piston, but as it runs through here, it runs through the block fast enough to put power into this repeater, and then it's going to fire up, and then that will break this power line. So you just get a pulse, but when we put a 1 tick delay, it gives us just a long enough pulse to actually do something with it. So as you can see here, hopefully you can see what I've done. So our signal comes through here. We'll just watch it. Well, shoot. And we'll put my water bucket in here. Okay, right? So you see how the dispenser runs, the water comes out, right? So watch again for it. Here it goes. Boom. It lets the water flow, and then it turns the water flow off. So that's what we need to happen. And theoretically, that's enough time. It's on long enough that it'll push all of our items across the 8 blocks and into the troughs. If it isn't, if we needed to extend that, we actually could just lengthen this. We could actually run, put in some more repeaters going that way. You could put in a whole bunch of repeaters and make something super long. You could also end up using a clock like this, but I just needed something that just was simple without having to do different types of things. So anyway, you can see how that works. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Okay, so that's that. Then the only other thing we have to do besides running that line to connect to the dispensers is take this signal out of here and run this. As you'll see, we just take the signal out of here and we're going to split it, and we're going to run it to both the bone meal dispensers and the piston array. And we just do that with the same thing. We're just taking a signal out. We do have to have a dust cut as well for this, because we don't want it to run, we just want the pistons to fire clack clack. We don't want it to fire one way and then sit there for a few seconds and then fire back. We want it to just go boom 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 boom. So we need a pulse instead of a steady signal. So that's pretty easy. So we get a signal out of here, and we also cut off the signal quickly. If we put a redstone signal on top of this block, it'll lock that hopper just like that does. And that is the point here, is we want to lock. If we want to turn this whole system off altogether, we want one lock, one lever that turns off both of these clocks. And this is the way that we do that. We can run this, you know, we can take a signal, we can run a signal to a lever wherever we want to do that. I'm not sure where a good spot is. What's over here? There we go. That locks both of those, and then I can pull this off of here and connect that back, and we're good to go. There we go. So that's now gonna run back and forth. Hopefully everything works. Let's just break it. Let's see what happens. So this is all running, la-da-da, la-da-da. In a minute, we should see the dispensers fire and see what happens. Let's wait for it. Fingers crossed. There goes the water. And they go back to working. Awesome, awesome. This one did not fire because I forgot to put redstone. I told myself, don't forget to put the redstone here. Yeah, I forgot this little bit here from the spiral. It's going to cycle through again. We'll make sure, we know these two work. We need to make sure these two work over here. And then the third one, and then the fifth one. And we'll see. Boom, those work. Awesome, 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 awesome. Is this one working? Yes, it's working. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh my goodness, I'm not even powering one of them. Wow. It's CryinMo, your intrepid instructor here. All right, so this is kind of like going on a paper route. I had a paper route when I was a kid, a long time ago. We're going around putting bone meal in the dispensers. So 3 stacks fills up each one. There we go. So it's, yeah, I'll have to go down here and I'm going to have to clean all of this up because this has to be a usable hallway and everything, and has to be self-explanatory, and has to be easy to use, etc., etc. You know, I like to design things that are usable by other people just because. I don't really know why, but I mean, it's a single player world, but you know, I kind of like to keep that aesthetic. Now the guys are falling. Now we got all kinds of lag happening. That's good. Oh, they fight for a space. Look at that. All right, I just want the bones, buddies. I don't care if you kill each other. Just give me the bones. Come on, man. This is like the slowest spawner I've seen. Like what, it's pretty dark. I mean, geez. Light from these, that's 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. I mean, yeah, that should be plenty dark. I don't know why they're not spawning. There you go. Cool. I better eat some steak here. All right, so we run this for a little bit. It's still going. I'm going to turn it off here in a second, but it is totally functioning. This is a pretty, I am very proud of myself having done this here. I did the designs myself for the redstone and the layout and everything. I designed it using components, of course, that are all, you can study up on how to do all the components in the wiki. But look at that. We are now rolling in flowers, and to be perfectly honest, down there, the drop zone down there is probably bottlenecking, you know, because we have so many different types of things. But look at that. Now we've got alliums come down. We've got white tulips. I arrayed across the tops of each one of these the types of flowers that we have in each zone that are possible to come out of here. So at least we know, you know, we can remember what each one is. All right, well, I'm going to turn this off really quick, and we're going to go down and look at the spoils. There we go. All right. And things exploded out of the side, I see. What do we got in here? Okay. Okay, cool. So, yeah, picking up quite a few flowers. Some of these might have been falling off the edge, so I would need to, obviously. Oh, yeah, we got tons. Look at that. So, yes, this is, yeah, the flowers generate way too many. They're going to actually, yeah, that's pretty rad. That is pretty rad. So, we have these, we have these, we have orange, we have white. We have a few pink. Do we have any more in here? Yes, we do 2 stacks of pinks. All right. I mean, we didn't even run the farm for that long. And look at the stacks we've got. Easily a stack of I mean, stacks of everything, not like totally just not a problem at all. I think this is a success. Let's fly out of here really quick. If you guys have suggestions, you let me know, and as to how to maybe collect the flowers a little better so I don't risk despawning a bunch. But I mean, we ran that for literally, what, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and we got a ton of stuff. So, oh boy, I'm pretty happy, guys. I'm pretty happy. I think we're in business here with this thing. And I know aesthetically it doesn't look like much right now. Obviously, I got to come in here and fix it all up. Of course, you know, we don't have to AFK in the farm itself down here. We can, but I do have to come down here to fill up the bone meal, of course, and all that stuff. So I will make, you know, I got to make a good entrance down here, do some decorative stuff. So all the fun stuff we can do in another episode. But at any rate, our flower forest village is now operational, and we will now start to be able to gather tons and tons of flowers. I love it. I love it. This was a ton of work. It was just way more, it just took me way longer than I thought it was going to take me. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the episode. I'm CryinMo. I had fun hanging out. I had fun doing this build. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. And if you have any ideas on improving it or whatever, just let me know. Hope you guys have a great couple of days. And I will see you soon in the next episode. See ya.